In this video, we are going to talk about how to archive files and how to compress files. So, the first command that we are going to talk about is tar, which will help us to archive files, and the second command is gzip, which will help us to compress the files. So, the first command is tar. The tar command is used to archive files. Archive means you can club multiple files to make another file. For example, whenever we talk about zip files or rar files, so they are files which contain further files. But in general, you know that a directory contains files. So, this is a kind of an exception wherein you club files to make a new file and then you can export that particular file somewhere else and extract the files from that. So, we are going to use the tar command to achieve file archive. Now, what kind of operations we can perform? So, you can create an archive, you can list the contents of the archived file, and you can extract the archived file. Also, we can use the tar command to compress the files also. So, all these things can be done with the tar command itself. Now, let us see with an example how we can do each of these operations. To create an archive, we will work on a group of files. So, let us suppose I want to archive the files date 192 and date.txt. So, I use tar, options, C to create, V for verbose to see the list of files that has been archived, and F to list the files. Then I will write the target file name. So, let us suppose in this case I want date.arc and then the source, the files that I want to archive. So, date 192 and date.txt. So, you can see this output is coming due to V option. If you do not write V, then you will not see this. So, now if I show you the contents of date 192, so a lot of content is written. Similarly, in date.txt also there is some content. Okay. I have shown you this just to verify that these same files have been archived. So, you can see date.archive file is created. Now, let us export it to somewhere else. So, I will copy this date.arc into, let us suppose, dir3 directory. Let us move into dir3 ls. You can see date.arc is there. Now, I want to extract these files. Okay. So, we have archived files into a new file date.arc, exported it somewhere, and now we want to extract. So, I use tar xvf, x is to extract. First, let us view. So, before extracting, you can use the option T for that, date.arc. So, you can see these two files are there inside the date.arc files, exactly the ones which we archived. Now, let us extract by using xvf command. Now, if I do ls, you can see apart from the archived file, the two internal files are also there. Just to verify these are the same, I will show you the contents of date.txt. So, you can match the exact content we saw before copying the archived file into directory dir3. In the same way, we can archive directories also. Okay. For example, let us suppose you want to archive, so cvf etc directory. So, let us name it etc.tar and you want to archive etc. So, this output is coming because we have used the V option. Okay. So, this is telling that these all files inside the etc directory are being archived. So, depending upon the content of the directory, it is going to take some time. Let us check. So, you can see that etc.tar is created. Now, the next part is the compression. Now, to compress, let me first show you the size of the files date.txt. So, you can see the size is 1164 bytes. Similarly, for the file date 192, the size is 1903. And we archived date.arc, these two files into date.arc. If I show you the size of date.arc, okay, so you can see the size 10240. these many bytes, alright. What if, now the size is quite large. What if I want to compress this? So what I can do is, while creating the archive, if you remember the command was cvf, then we wrote date.arc. So let's create a new archive, date1.arc, from the same two files, date.txt and date192. But this time, while writing cvf, I'll also use z. Z is used for gzip compression, and I can give an extension here, .zip. Alright, so let me now show you the size of this compressed archived file. So this file date1.arc.zip is compressed and archived. So you can see, look at the size, the reduction, 424 bytes only. Earlier it was 10240, and it is having the same two files, date.txt and date192. We can verify that tvf date1.arc.zip. You can see it is having the exact two files, same original size, but the archived file is compressed because we have used the Z option. Right. If you simply want to compress files, you don't want to archive them, so we have separate command to achieve compression also, and the first one is gzip. So gzip will help you compress the files. Apart from gzip, there are certain other commands also, for example bzip2 or xz command. These two commands will also help you in file compression. The techniques that they use are different, but ultimately they are going to compress the files. So you need not to bother about what is the background algorithm which they follow to compress. The only thing that you are supposed to learn is to use them to achieve the compression. So now let us go to the practical aspect. So now let us see with an example how to use the bzip command to compress the files. If you want to simply compress, not archive but only compress, then you can use gzip and then give the name of the file. So let's focus on date.txt, whose original size was 1164. If I compress this, let me long list. So now you can see date.txt.gz. Date.txt gone because that has been compressed, and automatic extension is .gz. So if I now list this file date.txt.gz, you can see the compressed size is 139 only. Earlier it was 1164. If you want to uncompress this, then we will use gunzip and then write date.txt.gz. It has been uncompressed. You can see the original file is back, date.txt, ls-l, date.txt, and the size is also restored 1164. Similar to the gzip compression, there is bzip2, date.txt, ls, and you can see date.txt.bz2. The file is compressed. The compression level will be different. Okay, so you can see there is a different size, but it is compressed. Similarly, you can use bunzip to date.txt.bz2 and the file is restored. And the third method is xz compression. Similarly, you will use xz also on the file date.txt, right. So you can use any of these compression techniques. They might result in different type of compression depending upon what is the working. So we need not to bother about that, what is the backend, how it compresses, but we have these three options. You can use them separately, you can use them with tar also. So I hope that you are able to compress and archive files. In the next video, we are going to talk about few other commands like find, sort and cut.